Hello, this is Semicolon, and this is going to be like a reflection and discussion about mostly the characters in the Fire Emblem The Sacred Stone's Sethless Ironman I did. I did it because I wanted to experience Erica route, and I didn't like how over-reliant I was on Seth in my original Ironman of the game. So I just entirely banned him. And honestly, I found the game to be a lot more fun when I actually had to train up units and didn't have someone who could just solo and double and complete chapters on their own. At least not someone with 8 movement, that is. Yeah, so, to prove myself, look at that. No combat, nothing. He still got the weapons that he comes with. I didn't touch Seth. This ROM is something I renamed, Seth Gets Raptured, because I edited it so Seth just gets raptured in the first chapter, which I was supposed to just make him die, but he came back when battle preps became a thing, so I just undeployed him for every chapter, and never used him. So, let's get into the units, starting with this. I don't know how Erica did this good. Like, she became, she was seriously the best unit on the team, and I don't know how. I did give her stat boosters. I gave her an Angelic Robe, a Draco Shield, and a Talisman. But nothing offensively. She got the 23 strength on her own, the 27 speed. I didn't even check her averages, but this is absurd. She got to level 20 before promotion, and, she was, one-rounding everything, at least with the Silver Sword. And no one else could use it when I had access to the Silver Swords, so I had 2 free Silver Swords that were basically exclusive to Erica, at least until Garrick got to A rank. I broke Sieglend because I used it so much. It was funny because, Erica and Garrick had the same combat stats, and I was just really laughing about that for the last couple chapters when they had the same attack and were within 1 point of defense and resistance with each other. Then there's Ephraim, who was actually, surprisingly still really good despite me not using him until he rejoined. I think I gave him 1 level in, 5x and 8 combined. And then he came back with, 16 speed or something, super high. I think he got, a lot of speed with his, auto levels before he returned. He finally has 4 more res than defense, which... Hey, he's a mage killer. But yeah, he was very useful for the time he was there in the end game, and I used him, I think, at every chapter except 16 and 18. No, I did use him in 18, but I shouldn't have. I regret taking him into 18 because he posed danger because I had to sacrifice someone to keep him alive in 18 to not end the run because of a mistake I made. But yeah, we have Vanessa, who was insanely good. She got higher stats than she really needed because I did not get the Elysian Whip from Chapter 8, because Colm got the lockpick stolen from him by an enemy thief, and I couldn't get it back because he had, 2 more points of speed than Colm. So I was yelling at Colm. I actually had a door key and a chest key, so I could have actually gotten just the Elysian Whip and not the Silver Sword. I actually only got the 1 Silver Sword. I lied when I said I had 2 for Erica. But, yeah, Vanessa was definitely, probably the number 2, right behind Erica for the run. It definitely took her a while to get going, but once she made it to level 15 or so, unpromoted, I think she got to 18 before promoting with Cormac's Elysian Whip. And I went Falcon Knight because I wanted to have diverse promotions, not repeat promoted classes, and I preferred having her have more bulk and Tanya to have the more speed because she already has enough speed, and I think the bulk really helped her survive a bit better. I think Falcon Knight versus Wyvern Knight's actually it's not that unbalanced of a promotion because depending on if your flyers are already doubling everything, they might use the extra bulk of Falcon Knight more than the extra con from Wyvern Knight, just to face more combat. She was my Vidofnir user. Her and Kyle were both options for it, but Kyle, unfortunately, did not survive to the end of the run, but we'll get to him. Nami. Nami did exceed my expectations. She did die at the end, though I'm not really counting this one because she died on the Demon King when I tried to finish him off with her. She missed and then got hit. Also partially because I put the game on 1RN for this run, because after playing Sacred Stones with both 2RN and 1RN, I have been vindicated. I like 1RN better. I find it more fun when the hit rates are actually what they say. But Nami was way better than I was expecting her to be, because like once we got to like chapter 6, like I trained her up just like for a joke, but like once we got to chapter 6, she was one-rounding everything I needed her to, but just like barely. So I think she got just the stats she needed to keep up for the entire game. And once she got her ranger promotion at around like chapter 9, I think it was the start of chapter 9, and then once I got to chapter 10 and Innies just had like the same stats but not having a horse, I was like, okay, well, Innies is not good. He just gets outclassed by 10-1 Nami. But yeah, she had exclusive access to Nidhogg because who else is using it? Once she got that, she was one-rounding pretty much everything except like generals. And she was like really useful throughout this run. She's not a good unit. Like, I could have used a bunch of other people to fill her role, but it was fun to train her up and use her this run. And then she died on the Demon King due to a miss, still proving it's still Nami after all. Garrick. He's Garrick. Like, what is there to say about Garrick? Took at Homa. Killed everything. I got him to like level 16 before promoting because I used his hero crest on Garcia, who I wanted to promote for a little while, and that because he was not doing too well, and I wanted to use him for a little while longer and then bench him. But Garrick, like this, I didn't use a single stat booster on him this time. This is all natural Garrick, and he's still just as good. Of course, he had like 4 more chapters to contribute, but I don't think it matters that much. Garrick will always be Garrick. He's so good. Now, oh wait, no. First we got Tanya. Tanya was fine. She was second flyer because I wasn't using Cormag. We'll talk about Cormag. She took the Brave Lance in the last couple chapters, and she barely used it. But yeah, she could kill things. Not very well. I notably used her to bait out the reinforcements in chapter 16. But yeah, she kind of just did second flyer things. She was just worse Vanessa. She had less time unpromoted, so her stats were worse. She got to like, I think Vanessa actually got to like level 18, and she promoted at 13. So yeah, she has speed and not much else of note. This. Yeah, so Lute disappointed me as a Mage Knight twice, but La Rochelle did not disappoint. I trained her up just for fun, because I like her as a character, and I wanted to see how she performed if I got her to promotion and used her, and wow. 22-22 offense. Like, I think like at 10-1, she was better than Saleh for combat, besides the fact that Saleh could use Excalibur, and she did not. She only has A rank. But her high magic, her high staff rank, made it so that she was my primary warper for a couple maps when I used warp, which was mostly just 19. I needed to warp skip because danger was happening. She was my primary physic user because again high magic gave her like just like 11 range on physic, and Mulder and Saleh were not hitting that. And her combat is just like she doubled like okay, let's be fair. I used 4 stat boosters on her. Let's not ignore that. I used 2 energy rings, a speed wing, and the boots. But even without those stat boosters, 18-20 offense is still really, really good for a magic user. She's still going to double pretty much everything. Like, the speed wings made it so that she could double things with L-Fire. She already was with Thunder. And then the L-Fire, the speed offset that it gave her from its weight, got her to enough speed to double pretty much everything. And through, like, chapter 20, like, once she promoted, she was pretty much just one-rounding everything I needed her to. Lute and Ewan wishes they could be this good of a Mage Knight. They will never be. So in future runs I do of this game, I will not be training Lute, because I have a better Mage Knight that's coming later. And yeah, I did attempt to get 3 Mage Knights up, and then Lute and Ewan died, so La Rochelle was the only one left, but it doesn't matter, because she's the only one who matters anyway. Saleh is Saleh. I'm gonna be honest, I've come to a decision that I think he is better than Pent, relative to his own game. I think Pent's obviously stronger in terms of raw stats and weapon ranks, but Saleh doesn't suffer from the weakness Pent does, and the fact that there's a lot of enemies with high res that he can't do that well against in the late game. Saleh's combat is not impeded in the late game. He can still one-around basically everything. I didn't really use a Saf rank. He was pretty much a pure combat unit for me. But he's just so absurdly good. He doubles most things, one-rounds most things, has enough bulk to take a few hits. I wasn't originally going to use him, and then a couple of my characters died, and he got slotted onto the team, and he just stayed there because he used Excalibur, and no one else was hitting that. I tried to get Molder to Excalibur. It didn't happen. Tethys, I originally also wasn't going to use, because I was like, there's a couple of combat units I want to use. I'm not going to use a Dancer this time. And then they died, and then I put Tethys back on the team, because dancing is good. Not much more to say than that. Dusel, another character I was not expecting to be as good as he was. He was pretty much Seth in the late game. I didn't need Seth because I already had him. Except he had more defense, and I used the Devil Axe and the Steel Axe to get him to Garm in like one chapter, and then with that he basically doubles everything and kills everything in one round. He's still top tier on Erica Root, even without those, like, 5 chapters he misses. Molder, I wanted to be so much better. Like, that 9 magic is rough. I put him in Sage because I wanted him to have good combat outside of, Slayer. And his combat was decent. He could one-round some things. But he was mostly used for, like, setting up kills for other units. He could double a lot of things. 11 Con makes him not weighed down by Elfire, which is really nice. But yeah, he eventually just became a staff user in the late game once Saleh joined, he just had better stats than Molder in every way, besides staff rank. And La Rochelle just further put him down with how good she was. So yeah, I would go Bishop Molder. I don't think I'm going to go Sage Molder again, as fun as that looked to me to have Molder using Anima Magic. Might try Sage Arthur, though. That might be fun. Gilliam's here because randomly in like chapter 18, I'm just like, I'm going to train up Gilliam. I didn't do it for much, but I did bring him into the final chapter in case I got the Master Seal, and I just wanted to promote him at the very end. I didn't. I mean, he's Gilliam. He didn't do anything. I benched him super early, and then I brought him back with some effective weapons to just kill a couple things. Cyrene killed a couple things, existed in Chapter 18. Pretty much the same things she did in the last run, but I did not take her in the final chapter because I had other flyers this time to use. Myrrh I didn't train up this time. And she is surprisingly competent at base. She nuked Riev. That was fun, because he did 1 damage to her. And he had to crit her like 5 times to kill her. So she just baited him out and then killed him. I think she did most of the work and then Erica killed him or something. I should have probably brought her into the final chapter instead of Gilliam. But Gilliam was funnier. Innies got benched for being worse than Amy. And then I brought him back when I had a lot of deployment slots in the last couple chapters, and he hit a couple things. Didn't do much. Dazla. I never used him except in chapter 19 and 20. He killed 1 thing, apparently. Gave him the Brave Axe at the late game. It's on Dusel now, but I did give him the Brave Axe, and the Devil Axe was funny. Yeah, he existed. Cormag. Cormag's the worst character in this game. Him taking so long to recruit in Chapter 13 is the reason why the tragedy of Hammo Canyon happened. I lost units because Cormag took so long to show up, and I couldn't kill the boss, and I had to wait, and the reinforcements came in and killed 3 of my guys, and almost killed Garrick and Vanessa. They got lucky and dodged. I hate Cormag. It's all his fault. Ford is the only Cavalier who survived to the end of the game. He was fine for when he was pretty good when he existed. 7 strength's not great. And then he came back again in Chapter 20 when I had a bunch of deployment slots, and he killed a couple things. I didn't have the 3rd Night Crest to promote him because that got stolen off of whoever I sent over there to get it. I think it was Nami. Franz. Franz is the 2nd character after Nami who died before the end of the game. He died in Chapter 19. He did a lot in the early game, and then I made the wonderful decision to promote him to Great Knight, and then he just fell off completely. I thought maybe the increased stats he gets from Great Knight will be enough to keep him relevant. The increased stats he gets in comparison to Paladin will keep him relevant for a little while, but no, that 6 movement is just so bad. And it tanked his EXP gain, and he just could not keep up with the rest of the team, and I benched him around Chapter 12, 13, then I brought him back in 19 and he died. Noel. Noel died in the exact same way as he did last time. Chapter 19. Except I didn't really use him this game. I promoted him when I got a guiding ring. I think in Chapter 17, I want to say. Yeah, I think Chapter 17. And then I used him for Phantom stuff in Chapter 19, and then he got killed by enemies that... Oh no, he died because of Great Shield. That's right. One of the generals procced Great Shield, and I couldn't kill him, and he ran over and killed Noel. That was sad. Of course he died to bad luck, because he has 0 luck. It wasn't even like it procced Great Shield. It procced Great Shield twice. Against like level 5 units, so it was like a 5% activation rate. So that was sad. Colm. Hate Colm. Still hate Colm. All he did of worth is that he got me Desert Treasure. Got his lockpick stolen from him and prevented me from promoting Vanessa. Not really, but I'm still blaming him for that. My blind rage towards Colm is what made me realize Loot didn't have a door key to open the door. Or that Loot did have a door key and I could have opened the door. Natasha, I tried to train up in the early game, and then she just still was not getting good stats, and she only made it to level 4 at like Chapter 10, and I was just like, nah, I'm just gonna go to La Rochelle. Amelia, I tried to use briefly, and she missed like everything, so I gave up and went to E1. Ha, Seth. Didn't get used. Kyle. Kyle was better than I initially expected, because in 5X, he was not getting strength or speed, and I was getting really mad. And I thought he was just going to turn out bad, but he kept getting defense, so he just turned into a mobile tank that I could just throw into precarious situations and he could come out okay. And then eventually he did get strength and speed, some speed. I had to give him a speed wing. He only had 15 speed even with the speed wing. So he wasn't doubling everything, but he was doubling a good amount of stuff once I gave him the speed wing. And that 5 res is of course a weakness, and that's how he died. In Chapter 18, I had to put him into danger to kill one of the Gorgon eggs and save Ephraim's life. It was actually, I could have killed the Gorgon eggs, but I was convinced that the boss didn't move, and then the boss did move and turned La Rochelle to stone, and I did not want La Rochelle to die. I had become very attached to her after I sunk all the stat boosters into her to make her the ultimate Mage Knight. So Kyle probably would have lived if I sacked La Rochelle instead, but I did not want to lose La Rochelle. She was so fun. Garcia died in Chapter 18 to the Devil Axe Berserker who crit him. Yeah, that 8 speed. That was the main issue with him. I went Warrior because I felt like it. I just started training up his bow rank. I don't even know what the end goal was. I was just training up his bow rank for no reason. Yeah, he killed things. I gave him some effective weapons, so he killed a couple things in Chapter 15 that I needed him to. He was actually... And he was good in the early game, so... Still one of my better units overall, probably. Yeah, Loot, yeah, the 9 speed. Nice. Yeah, Loot had 8 speed when I promoted her. And that was just... horrible. She couldn't double anything, because... She gets weighed down by everything besides Thunder, and 8 speed's not good enough to double anything except, like, Knights. Maybe a fighter or two, but not for long. So, and she also didn't have enough magic to kill things in one hit with Hellfire, so she was just bad. She could do some chip, and she could, use the Men's Staff. And then she died at Hamel Canyon, because of Cormag. And I couldn't have 3 Mage Knights anymore. The other death of Hamel Canyon. Marissa. Marissa was better than I was expecting her to be, honestly. Although, in fairness, I patched in hard mode bonuses for all the hard mode units, which ended up not doing anything, because Marissa died really quickly. Cormag I benched for what he did. Joshua died before I even put hard mode bonuses on. Who else has hard mode bonuses? Amelia got benched really quickly, and Rennick, I didn't even recruit. But Marissa was able to kill things prior to her dying, and I trained her up because I thought it would be fun. And then she died. She was actually probably pretty competent if I got to promote her. More competent than Joshua has ever been for me. But I guess it was not meant to be. Ewan also died at Hamel Canyon. He might have lived, but I accidentally hit end turn before moving him. I don't even know how I managed to do that, but I did. He was going to be a Mage Knight, and then he died. He has 5 speed, and he couldn't kill anything. Bleh. Artur was probably the dumbest death of the run. He died in Chapter 6, on player phase, when I attacked a shaman that killed him. Because I just assumed he had enough HP to survive, and he did not. Yeah, he didn't really do anything. And then Joshua, who also died in Chapter 6. Because he got killed by a knight and a shaman together, which I just assumed he could survive. Very cringe character. Ross died even earlier in this run. I lost him in Chapter 2 instead of Chapter 3. I assumed he wouldn't get doubled when he had the hatchet instead of the iron axe. He got doubled by the brigand and died. And then there's Rennick, who ran away with my member card, and made it so that well, he didn't really do anything. He made it so I had to use Colm again, which is a big sin. But otherwise, I don't think that really did all that much. I didn't need anything from the secret shops. I was going to buy another promotion item for either Tanya or Ford, but I didn't need it. I just used the Master Seal on Tanya. But yeah, that's it. That was a very fun playthrough. Again, I vastly prefer Sacred Stones without Seth after playing it. Erica versus Ephraim Root, I still think I like the maps of Ephraim Root better. A little bit. But not that much where I, like, outright completely prefer Ephraim Root. Might have to try Ephraim Root Sethless just to see if I can get through Phantom Ship. But yeah, I think I would rather play this game Sethless than vanilla FE7. I would probably rather play FE7 with like a couple patches to remove the annoying stuff from the game. Because I like the characters better and the character balancing better. And it has more maps that I really, really love in FE7 than FE8. With that said, I still think Chapter 18 might be the best map in the entire GBA era. Chapter 17 is really, really good. Like, the whole stretch from Chapter 15 through 19 is just, like, really, really good. I still love the late game. I still think it's the highlight of the game. I like La Rochelle. She was fun. She is the character of this run. Like, Garrick was the character of last run. La Rochelle was the character of this run. Probably a character I will be using in every future run now, just because of this. But yeah, I'm still on a quest to try and beat every Fire Emblem game, sort of Ironman. I kind of dropped the hard Ironman restriction, I think. I'm still gonna like play the games, mostly resetless, but I think I actually do want to beat the games, so I don't know if I'm gonna upload any of the playthroughs. I played Mystery of the Emblem all the way through, Book 1. I probably won't be doing that again. Maybe I'll do Book 2, but yeah, there's 2. I just like was not dealing with checking all this stuff, how long it takes, how what's the word I'm looking for? Antiquated, I guess the systems feel. I would love to play a remake of Mystery of the Emblem in like the GBA engine with all like the quality of life patches, because I think the game at its core is very good, but it's just not something I enjoyed a bunch. I tried playing FE6 again, and I'm probably going to make a video of how much I don't like the game, even after trying to beat it in normal mode and then giving up halfway through because I felt like it was a waste of my time and I was getting nothing out of the experience that I didn't get from every other Fire Emblem game. So yeah, stay tuned for that if you also hate FE6. Man, I love GBA Fire Emblem. Those 2 games. Yeah, Sacred Stones has been so redeemed for me. I used to not like this game, but now I think it's one of the most well-rounded games in the series if you just ignore that one giant problem with the game right here. No, not... Well, that's a problem too, but mostly the Seth problem. I don't know if I'm ever going to really... Now that I just remembered, I have an almost completed FE7 rebalance that I might release. Maybe I'll make one for this game too. I'm gonna do another playthrough to fully test the FE7 rebalance, and I'll probably upload it. I don't know when that'll be though. I just don't feel like playing it right now. You can see footage of that in the Florina video in the background with promoted Hector in chapter 17 or 18. Chapter 18. It's a pirate ship. Now, my personal rebalance of FE7, that's my favorite GBA Fire Emblem. I think I did a pretty good job on it. So stay tuned for my FA8 rebalance where I cap all of La Rochelle's stats at base and make her level 20 so she can just insta-promote.